Hello everyone and welcome back to CJ Explores. I am super excited because we're in New Zealand, we're in Wellington, and this is my home city, this is where I was born. So today we're going to take you on a tour of Wellington and show you some of the best spots to see and some of the best things to do here in my hometown, Wellington City.
We're just having a little walk through the harbour now, and this is a beautiful spot to come to in Wellington. At the moment they have a big Wellington sign down the harbour front, covered it in like Marvel characters because there's a Marvel exhibition currently here. They've also got the famous statue of the man, you can probably see it just down there. And of course from here you can see all the big cruise ships that come into, and also all the ferries that go from here down to Picton in the South Island. And actually recently we saw some dolphins in the harbour. I'm not sure if we're going to be lucky enough to see them again today, but this is a beautiful spot and a must do on your visit to Wellington.
Okay, so we are starting our day down in Wellington Harbour. This is the focal point of the city. This area here is such a beautiful place to walk on a day like today when there's no wind, which is actually a bit of a rarity in Wellington. Wellington is known as a very, very windy city, but we've got beautiful weather. It is the 7th of January, so quite early on in the year. We're in summer and the water looks beautiful. There's a lot of places to jump in and we are just enjoying the scenery. So right behind us here is Te Papa. This is the New Zealand National Museum in Wellington, and we are going to go inside and take a look.
So a lot of the exhibitions are free in Te Papa, so we're going to go into this Gallipoli War one. They do have a new dinosaur one which you have to pay for, which looks really cool, but they also have some Maori culture exhibitions here and I think some animal ones. So we're going to have a little quick look around everything and we'll show you a little bit of what you can do in Te Papa. So this exhibition is incredible. They have these huge 2.4 to scale human figures, and they are based on real people, which is incredible. You can find out their story. They are created by Weta Workshops, who created for Lord of the Rings, so of course they are incredible. Better than any Madame Tussauds sculptures I've ever seen. They look so realistic, and of course because they're a larger scale, it's even more confronting. They had to use yak hair for the hair on the arms and the legs because they couldn't find anything equivalent at the 2.4 scale to use. But they are absolutely incredible, and I know my nephew, who's so into history of wars, would absolutely love it here.
So here you can learn about some of our special flora and fauna we have in New Zealand. It's very isolated from the rest of the world, so it's been able to evolve in very unique ways. For example, back there we have the moa, which were large grazing animals. They didn't fly, they just walked around the forest and grazed on different plants and things. They are now extinct. We also have the tuatara, which is New Zealand's own dinosaur. Millions of years of evolution, and it is still around today, which is pretty cool. This place has changed so much since I was here last. It's really been renovated. There's a lot of like activities and games for people to learn, adults and kids as well, which is really cool. There's still some of the old things which I remember here, like this giant squid. Have a look at that. That is a behemoth that was fished up in New Zealand waters. A lovely place to come and learn about New Zealand, the history, the environment, the geology, earthquakes, all of the things that New Zealand is pretty well known for. Now obviously that was just a very small taster of what Te Papa really has to offer. The place is huge, you could spend hours and hours in there, and best to save it for a rainy day when going outside and along the waterfront isn't actually ideal. It's a great place to just spend a rainy day. This is probably my favourite part of Wellington, this little kind of like harbour area, this lagoon area. We're outside the St John's Free Ambulance building that used to be an ambulance station. Now it has turned into a very, very cool bar and eatery. A lot of cool stuff going on down here. And then we have Whairopo Lagoon, which a lot of activities happen. This is where sometimes they have the Red Bull flying machines. They'll launch them off into the water. They also had New Year's Eve parties here. It's just a really great place for you to come, enjoy some of the activities that Wellington puts on, fireworks or anything like that. But even just coming down here, getting some wheels, maybe a rollerblade or an electric scooter, or maybe even a bicycle, and just cycling around because it's so flat. This is all reclaimed territory in Wellington. This whole harbour area, if you look at a map, you can see over the years how much of Wellington has actually been reclaimed and built out onto the water. taking over what was originally a beach area and converting it into beautiful waterfront walking spaces and green spaces for everyone to come and enjoy.
We have worked up an appetite, so now we are just cutting through from the lagoon. We're going to go right into the city to go and find some restaurants. I think there's a place we're going to go to called September. They do really good roti canai, so hopefully it's open. It should be, because it's definitely one to try. Well, Corey went for the roti canai and I went for the laksa. I've not tried this dish before from here, but this is really good. It's all vegan here, but the food is absolutely fantastic. A nice range of Asian-inspired dishes, of Malaysian dishes, run by a really lovely family. It's very casual here, but the food is delicious. Great location too, just off Cuba Street, so very central.
That is one thing that New Zealand does very, very well. We do have a lot of people here who make fantastic Asian food. I guess it's because we're so close to Asia. We get a lot of people who move here, who immigrate here from Asian countries and do this amazing food, and it's pretty cheap as well. So if you're looking for a good snack during the day, during your time in Wellington, keep an eye out for some of the really great Asian restaurants.
Oh my God, they gave me a brownie. So I got a cookie Inception. Apparently the cookie is filled with brownie, so I was like, yeah, I'll have it. And then we got a marshmallow, they gave a little brownie as well. So that was like opposite September, so that is a nice little area if you're looking for vegan food in Wellington.
We are on the famous Cuba Street now. This is where you want to come if you want to find something unique and interesting. There's a lot of buskers here, a lot of independent stores, kind of creative places where people are making things like artisan products and things like that. I think Cuba Street might actually be dying out. Like maybe a decade or two ago, it was like really popping, and I think there's some other parts of Wellington that are now sort of like more up and coming. But it's a good spot to come and check out, get a little bit of a feel of the place, and find some good food and some cool prezzies as well. Something else you may not know about Wellington or New Zealand in general is that their coffee culture is very strong. The coffee game is right up there with some of the best in the world. It is the kind of place where if you don't like the taste of the coffee where you've just picked it up from, you can give it back to the barista and they'll make you a fresh one. That's how snobby they are here. But it does guarantee a good coffee. We've just taken a little wander down Willis Street now. We're on Lambton Quay, and this is where you want to come if you're going to do some shopping. You've got a lot of shopping areas. This is the old back shopping arcade, and this just stretches all the way down. In fact, right down the end is the Beehive, that is New Zealand's Parliament building. Near there is Wellington's best bakery, Bellin Bakery. Definitely recommend if you're into some nice, tasty treats that are vegan friendly.
We are now going to go on the famous Wellington Cable Car up to a nice viewpoint. This has been around here for, I think, centuries, a couple hundred years. Obviously, this is a newer cable car. It used to be just a normal mode of transport for locals who lived on the hill, and now it's a tourist attraction. Okay, it's 120 years old, not a few hundred.
Welcome aboard the Wellington Cable Car, and a special welcome to all of our cruise ship passengers. The cable car has been operating since 1902, carrying locals and visitors alike. If you look to your left as we exit the tunnel, you'll see our transition mural, showing cable cars past and present. The lights in the next two tunnels were installed in 2014. You can program them with light shows that mark festivals, charitable events, and special occasions.
When you get to the top of the cable car terminal, you've got this amazing view looking over Wellington Harbour. And on a day like today, the water's so flat, you can just watch all the planes coming in, the cruise ships, all the boats out there, sailboats and stuff. And then you also get to watch the cable cars coming up and down the track here. Very good spot.
It's fun, it's quite short. Not as scary as the cable car went on this past summer in the UK. Oh my goodness, that was like this, and powered by water. Yeah, I like the party tunnels, that was fun. Once you reach the top, there is a little museum, and this is one of the older versions of the cable car, and they have these little outside seats, which I really like. It'd be cool to travel up the cable car on the outside, but maybe health and safety, they don't allow that anymore.
Now this has got to be one of the best parts about being in Wellington. You can be right in the middle of the CBD, and a short journey up the cable car brings you up into Kelburn, and this is the Botanic Gardens of Wellington. It's a beautiful green space, and there's a lot of them actually around Wellington. That's what I really appreciate about being here. There's just so much greenery, so many little walkways all throughout the city.
Well, didn't expect to do that. That was really cool. We managed to look through a solar telescope so we could actually see the sun and a sun flare. That was really cool. Tried to capture it slightly on my phone. It was a bit wobbly, but we'll show you what we saw. We are just taking a little walk now through the Botanical Gardens we find here up in Kelburn. There's 3 different paths, I think. We just went to that cool observatory space place area, and it actually links up to the Rose Garden, which is really beautiful. That's definitely worth a visit. And of course, if you want to escape the city for a little bit, somewhere quieter, this is really peaceful and gorgeous. And you have a lot of the Christmas trees here, the Pohutukawa, they bloom with these beautiful red flowers around Christmas time, so that's why they're known as the Christmas tree here. And there is a huge one right up here.
Wow, it's so nice to walk through the gardens. We're just fully immersed in nature. We've got these huge trees around us, and we're just about to come over a little ridge down into the Rose Garden.
We have walked all the way to the Rose Garden, which is absolutely beautiful. I did mention it earlier, and we decided to come here because it is definitely worth a visit, especially on a day like today. It's beautiful. There's so many different variations of roses. You can smell them all, so many beautiful colors. Really, really recommend it if you're a fan of flowers. And also there is a greenhouse over there, which is really awesome too. So many beautiful plants in there. And there is a cafe too. So opposite the Rose Garden is this little waterfall, and it is really beautiful here. Wow, massive bee next to me here. And we've just seen they've got ducklings here, and they're so cute.
We're just going to stop and listen, because all of the bird noises are so wonderful. We did just see 2 kaka in the tree, and they were doing their signature move, pulling all the bark, stripping the bark off the branches. I think that they maybe search for food that way. It's just so nice to be in the forest, listening to all these native birds. There's a sanctuary just up the road, and you can get a free shuttle from the cable car to Zealandia, which is another place that we're going to take you to in another video. So if you want to see that, subscribe. We hopefully might see some kiwis there as well, which will be very exciting. But it is a predator-free sanctuary for native animals of New Zealand to live in peace, and that has helped reintroduce species like the kaka and help them flourish in Wellington, which is amazing. Well, we've made our way all the way from Kelburn all the way down to Queen's Wharf now. And this place for me brings back a lot of memories. My brother and my dad, we used to come down here and hire some rollerblades or do rock climbing at Ferg's just behind us there. But this is a fantastic spot to come and get a bike rental or get an e-scooter. Go for a little adventure along the waterfront. You can pretty much go from here all the way around past the airport into Miramar without too much traffic. You don't need to cross the road really. It's just basically a flat path all the way around the harbour. Pretty amazing bike ride, and if you've got no wind, like I said, it's not very common where you don't get wind in Wellington. It is starting to pick up now, but if you have a beautiful breezeless day, it can be a really nice ride. This is Frankitz Park overlooking Whairepo Lagoon, and then on this side we've also got the harbour as well. There's a bridge which takes you over to Tupapa and around to Oriental Bay. So it's a pretty good spot to get a little vantage point overlooking everything. And I just love this time of day, this afternoon light, and especially when the water is just like that, so nice. Spend all afternoon up here as the sun goes down and then find a nice bite to eat somewhere along the waterfront. As I mentioned before, this pathway stretches all the way around the harbour, past Oriental Bay, which is where we are now, and it is a really, really beautiful spot to come and have a dip. There's some sandy beaches here. I think they actually import the sand from elsewhere, maybe it's from the South Island, but yeah, they bring this golden sand in, create this beautiful little cove, this beach, and there is a pontoon out there. A lot of people are out enjoying the afternoon sun, the warmer water temperatures. Is a beautiful spot to come down for a dip and even go for a little bike ride along the coast. We have managed to wrangle ourselves some empanadas from a new spot that has opened up in Oriental Bay. It is called A, and it is an Argentinian empanada speciality store. They are bloody tasty, so we're going to tuck into these with this amazing view of Oriental Bay. Woohoo!
We have just driven up to the top of Mount Victoria, and this is where you want to be for an incredible view looking down over Wellington. You can actually look over to the city and then over to the airport on the other side, so it's fantastic. We're actually just going to enjoy some dinner. We've just got some Thai takeaway, and then we're going to go and have a look at all the viewpoints. Well, we've just had our dinner in the car with an amazing view, but now we're going to go up to the viewpoint, one of the highest points here in Wellington, up there to see the city. If you like plane spotting, then places like this are fantastic because you have this beautiful bird's eye view down over the airport, and in general, Wellington's a pretty good place to come if you like plane spotting because there's so many vantage points, especially on the south coast, and you can get really close to the airport too. So I'm always there with my camera, filming the planes coming in and taking off with the crazy, windy Wellington runway. So this point is pretty high, but actually the highest point is behind me in the Hawkins Hill Radar Dome, and KAIKURA wants us to do an adventure there in a separate vlog, so keep an eye out because we're going to go there someday soon. Well, that's where we're going to end our day here in Wellington. We hope we've given you some ideas of what to do on your next visit to the city. Otherwise, we're going to continue exploring around Wellington and all of New Zealand. So follow along, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!